Hi guys! If you have a big house, protecting your house can be a challenge. But with the installation of IP camera system, you can have 24/7 civilian solution with eyes on every corner, even though when you're not home. So today we receive a case about installing an IP camera system. And here's what the scenario is. Our customer has a big house of his own, and he wants to add a camera system with total 3 cameras. One at the front of the house, one under the utility building that is 650 feet away, and one camera on the driveway gates, which is about 950 feet away from the house. He would also like to have a DVR and a way to monitor the cameras at the house, on the television if possible. Since he has no clue how to set up, that's why he reached out to us. So today in this video, I'm going to show you the whole camera setup and then tell you the details about it. And if you have any questions about your system design, please feel free to contact us through the link down in the description box below. Send up some simple drawing or a diagram, and we'll be more than happy to solve your problem for you for completely free of charge. So our customer's biggest challenge here is the distance. Now the PoE has a limitation of 328 feet, and he has to add cameras that is 650 and 950 feet away. And you might wonder, then why use PoE? Why not other solution? Remember, he has to monitor his cameras from his house, so he has to pull a cable for data anyway. So why not PoE? Because PoE can transmit both power and data through a single Ethernet cable. But in this case, we don't suggest him to add a PoE extender, because you might have to add like 5 or 6 of them, and it will generate latency. That's why we suggest him to use a long-range PoE switch. And now let's move on to the demonstration board. I will show you how the setup will be like and talk about the details. So let's do the connection together and pretend this is our customer's camera setup. Now in his house, he should have a monitor and the NVR, which is the network video recorder, so he can watch the video on the monitor and record the footage. Also, he will need to have the long-range PoE switch. The long-range PoE switch can provide both power and data through a single Ethernet cable with extended distance. It can have up to 1,600 feet, which is more than enough for all the cameras. And also it can provide high speed. The connected device can receive up to 100 megabit per second, which meet the 4K IP stable video stream. It has compatible with IEEE 802.3 AF, AT, and BT standard. And for each of the port, it can provide up to 30 watts of power. And you can see this is an 8-port long-range PoE switch, but keep in mind, only 1, 2, 3, 4, the 4-port here can provide long-range distance, and the other 4 ports are just ordinary PoE port. And then you can see here, I have 3 super big row of Cat6 Ethernet cable, and each row contains 300 meter. That is about 1,000 feet. So also it's more than enough for our camera. And on this side, we see this big boy. This is the Pentel zoom camera. And this is what our customers is planning to use. That's why we suggest the long-range PoE switch, because it can provide up to 30 watts of power, remember? And the PTZ camera actually require high voltage. And then we have here, you see the PoE extender. Why do we have to put the PoE extender by the camera? Remember, this is the switch can send power and data up to 1,600 feet, but the camera are just ordinary camera. They cannot send back the data with that distance. That's why we need to add the PoE extender at the end with the camera. So it can help the camera to boost the data over back to the switch so our customers can view the footage. And we are going to edit by the camera as close as you can. So you don't have to bury it in between. You can just put it by the camera. And also, the extender is IP67 waterproof, so there's no worry, you can put it outdoor. And without saying, let's do the connection together. So one more thing here. If you want to upload your footage online or use internet access to watch the video, you can always add a router with the long-range PoE switch and connect to the NVR. But since today we are just viewing the video on the monitor, so we are not going to add the router. Now, this is the long-range PoE switch, and this is the AC adapter. I'm going to plug it in now to have power. Alright, you can see the indicated lights are on, and I'm going to use a short patch cord here to connect our long-range PoE switch with the NVR. And since we have 3 cameras that I'm going to install, so I have 3 Ethernet cable now, and I'm just going to go ahead and plug them in. Remember, only port 1 to 4 are the long-range PoE port. So I'm going to plug it into those ports now. So this side are the long-range side, and those are just ordinary PoE port. And here comes, it seems a little complicated, but actually that's just simply 3 big row of Ethernet cable. And let's come over to this side. Remember, I said that we have to add the PoE extender by the camera in order to send back the signal, right? And this is waterproof. And make sure you use a wrench to tighten it up so nothing can get into the like water or dust or any other stuff that get into the cable and crush the connection. So for a quick connection, I'm just going to take them out and put it here first. And let's do the connection. This is what the port will be looking like. And just simply plug in here. And then we have a holder here to hold it. And using another Ethernet cable to plug it in. Okay. And those 2 are already connected. Now I'm going to use those 3 cables to connect with the camera. Is number 1 camera. Oh, so the Pentel zoom is already zooming and moving around. This is the 2nd camera. And this is the 3rd camera. And you can see the indicated lights are all getting on, and there's no power source here, only the Ethernet cable that's connected to the camera. So we should have image pretty soon. 2 already came up, so let's wait for a little while. All right, all image are coming up, and this is a live video. You can see my hand moving around in here. So all 3 cameras are working now. The whole setup is pretty simple, right? Here are a few more tips for you. If you're doing a PoE connection, make sure you use a pure copper cable like the Cat5e or Cat6, because copper has a superior conductivity compared to other materials, so you can have stable power delivery. And then you have to be careful with the power budget. Our long-range PoE switch here has a total 120 watts of power budget. And if all the edge devices add up over 120 watts of power, some of the devices may not be working because they're not getting enough power. And last but not least is the bandwidth. The more cameras that you add, the more bandwidth they'll share, especially if you're installing high-definition cameras or the cameras that require high bandwidth. So you have to be careful with that. And if you have a power source available at your site, You can also use the fiber optic cable to connect IP cameras with a far distance. And here's the video on how to use the fiber optic cable to install IP cameras that is distance away. So thank you so much for watching us today, and I'll see you next time.